What's up, guys? We got a very interesting discussion happening on Twitter lately, and that is Palutena a better character than Incineroar? The answer is obviously yeah, Palutena is better. However, why does it feel like Incineroar is a better solo main character? Why is every Palutena player like, damn, I can't solo main this character anymore, I'm dropping her, picking up someone else, whatever it is, like Jen, Chase, Chag, or all like, can't do it. And I chimed in before, and I have a few thoughts on this. Let's talk about this topic. Is it just skill dip? Are these Palutena players just not freaking good enough? Or are we all collectively realizing something? Maybe she sucks. No. Okay, I'm gonna stop that. She's clearly a broken top tier character. But there's a few things holding her back nowadays. One is matchup knowledge. And I'm not saying like, oh, Palutena's gotta learn the matchup better. I am saying, and I'm gonna use myself as an example here. So one of my main, if not my main offline practice partner is a Palutena player named C actually. And he's really good at this game. And as a result, I've gotten really good at Palutena Rosa, Palutena Oliver, and Palutena Mimmin. I am not afraid of Palutena Bracket at all. I see Palutena Bracket and I'm like, cool, I know this matchup inside and out. I'm gonna farm them with one of those three characters. Because unless the opposing Palutena heavily skill depths me, just my ability to know the matchup, and not just the basics, like, oh, avoid nair, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, how do I punish this move? How does this interaction play with her hitboxes? Like, oh, I can down air at this spot and beat her up air. Oh, I should time my parry at this moment when she goes for a back air. Oh, I can wall her out with this move to cover these options specifically as Olimar, right? Like, there's so much nuance to matchups in Ultimate that in that matchup, I'm going to know better than any other Palutena that isn't C. I'd actually rather fight any Palutena at top level than my practice partner C, because no other Palutena knows the nuance of the matchup nearly as well. And the thing is, no Palutena player is going to be able to learn the matchup the way I do, right? Name another Rosa at my level, right? You know, there's other Mimims at my level, sure, a few of them. There's other Olimars at my level. But that's the thing, you have to be playing against someone of my level regularly with Palutena to be able to know the matchup to the same extent. So that's going to hold them back when they're, again, with 80 plus matchups, all these different regions. Online sucks, so it's hard to like really practice with people outside of your region for online and get like good practice. And the name of the players don't even bother practicing online in the first place, right? So, huge issue. Not even a skill diff. Not even like the Palutena's fault, really. It's just straight up like, oh my god, you're fighting a Toon Link at a major, and they fight Palutenas at their weeklies all the time, and meanwhile you don't have any Toon Links in your region or your online practicing. Alright, good luck, I guess. You better watch those VODs and try and learn enough. And the thing is, at the same time with Palutena, if you know the matchup well enough, her kit's so strong that she should directly win that, right? So, it is a legitimate issue with getting better in Ultimate. And that's why it's really good to have a second character in Ultimate. Like, do a maining at top level. If you're not a top level player, ignore this. But at top level, when you're traveling going to majors, having two characters, especially one that's not super common, is really, really, really nice to have. Yeah, that's one issue with her for sure, and I think that's kind of the biggest issue holding her back, because she's such a good character. But there are other issues. Secondly, Ultimate is a game of win conditions, cheese, you know, all that bullshit, right? And Palutena is a great character overall, but she does not play Ultimate well nowadays, in my opinion. Because I feel like in Ultimate, you need to hit someone, do absurd damage, and threaten kills. It is so much better to hit someone and potentially kill them at 0 with like Incineroar doing back throw into offstage side B read, or like up air into up B cheese. And then to do like, nair, 50% get some up airs, and then hold advantage state. And the thing is, setups with like 50-50 kill options, or just straight up killing you off the rip, is so much more reliable than, put my opponent at disadvantage, and juggle them with up airs and dash attacks. Oh, ledge chop them with down tilts. Oh, corner them with back airs. Because all of those kind of things give your opponent more counterplay in this situation and chances to outplay you. And the more time like you prevent your opponent from having a opportunity to outplay you, the better. That's why characters like Kazuya, Steve are really good. Mim is bullshitting a lot of matchups for that reason, right? Cloud is becoming more and more strong and common. And like even like those low tiers that go on runs, you'll be like, wow, look at this Incineroar killing people at -%. Or like a Bowser Jr. getting an upset because he killed someone with Psybe up at 60. You know, look at DK a few months ago making a run because he was choosing people like 70 with like cargo up throw up air. And that's the idea, right? Is these kind of like win conditions and setups are so strong as this game has evolved. And Palutena does not do that. She just consistently plays well with neutral. And it's really hard to play perfectly all the time. People make mistakes. In theory, like a TDS low Palutena playing perfectly all the time is insane, but that's not gonna happen. We're not robots. At least I don't think. If someone's a robot, tell me in the comments below. Tell me your experience by being a competitive robot in Smash Ultimate. But anyway, so that's the thing. And then just matchups. Not matchup knowledge, just straight up matchups. She really doesn't play well into a lot of the common top tiers. Like I think most of the DLC characters that are good beat her. Like Joker, Aegis, Steve, Miniman, Kazu. I think all those characters just beat her. And they're all, you know, pretty common characters. And then you look at things like Diddy Kong probably beats her, Pikachu for sure beats her, right? Like I just go down the list of really good characters that just straight up beat her. And they beat her because, my next point, she's a bit of a skill check. Like, if you're a top level player, you know how to play her in the fact that she has very linear but strong options. Because her options are very linear, you can kind of expect what Palutena is going to do a lot of times. Like, oh, I know she's going to nair here, I know she's going to back here, I know she wants to down to a ledge trap in here, I know she wants to go for an up here, and like, especially in neutral, having strong options that are predictable really hurts compared to a character maybe having weaker neutral options but being harder to read. Because I feel like back here, for example, is a great move, but it also has specific counterplay that requires very tight spacing or timing, or even both to deal with. And if you're a top level player, you've practiced this. Not only do you need to because the character has been so common, but you've just got good enough of the game to kind of like play to these very like razor thin punish situations. But if you're not like a really good player, you're gonna suck at pairing back here. You're gonna suck at playing right outside of her jumping range and making these tiny punish windows work. So she is gonna overwhelm you because you need to play to those situations. So when you look at like a not top player matchup chart, but like tier list, they're like, oh, Palutena's top 5, top 10, easy, broken. And they look at a top player tier list, and a lot of them don't put her in top 10 anymore. They put her top tier, sure, but like in the most recent like ult rank tier list, that was a kind of a conglomerate of like top player tier lists. She was like what, 18 or something, which is still very good, don't get me wrong. But like you see, like, there's a huge difference of like top player opinions versus everyone else, and I think that's a huge reason. So overall, all these things combined, it's like, damn, she's really good. But it kind of makes sense as to why Incineroar feels like a better bracket character. He plays to the fact that people don't know the character nearly as well. He's not common. There's no Incineroar on SkyJ's level. He plays to ultimates like cheese factor, win condition factor. He plays to the fact that even if he has a worse neutral and has a worse character overall, he's able to mix you up. There's a lot more situations where like you have to strip guess versus Incineroar, where he has a lot more options to go for than Palutena, even if they're all more flawed than hers. So, yeah, I thought it was a really cool discussion. And I think my overall take from this is that if you take a top Palutena player and compare their performance over time to maybe SkyJ or some other random mid-tier character in bracket, I think overall the top Palutena player outperforms in long term. But variance-wise, short-term-wise, I expect the Incineroar player or random mid-tier player to have a lot more variance in these brackets and do things like 97th at a major and top 8 at another one for all the reasons I listed. So yeah, interesting discussion. Hope you guys thought this was a cool video and cool topic. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And I'ma peace out.